Ba-dum bum. Oh shit! Thanks, Ken. I know he's popping in and out. Ken's gonna miss out on this episode, guys. Oh shit! Thanks, Ken. I know he's popping in and out. Ken's gonna miss out on this episode. Uh-oh. All right, cool. So I'm still in. I think I had feedback on that one, but all right, let's get Rachel in here. I think we can remove him. There we go. Still not looking great, Rach?
Yeah, I can't get the camera to work.
What are you using? Your iPhone?
No, I have my iMac. Should I go on my iPhone?
I mean, you can use your iPhone. That's something that other people have used before in the past. But if you want, you can probably just use your iMac. It just you have to connect under the settings. You have to go to camera, and then it should say FaceTime HD camera.
I went to camera on setting, and it didn't say any.
Didn't populate anything. What web browser are you using, by the way?
It is Google. Should I try Safari?
No, use Google because that's what we use.
Let me try.
That's what it tells us to use.
Let me see here. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. There we go. All right, cool. I'll take your other one off. Cool. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, to do some house cleaning, Ken, he works for the Department of Energy out of Colorado. So I guess they planned some work meeting at the same time as this, and that came up late. So Ken will not, unfortunately, be joining us. But I know he's watching the live stream. I think he's on the YouTube. He might be our one listener. Maybe that's me still.
I love it.
We'll see. So I wanted to get you on the show. We'll talk about your job. We'll talk about the cool things you get to do. You were one of the people that I know was down at Wodapalooza recently. Ken also got to go down there. He's an athlete manager of sorts. And then I believe he also helps with a couple of other coaches and just like keeping track on certain athletes. So one of the people that I got to start seeing in some of the pictures was you, and some of your things were tagged in other people's things. So I wanted to get you on the show and just get to talk to you. I don't think we've ever had a photographer for fitness. We recently just had somebody on who does, what is it? Like he does long range hiking, and he does the vlogs and all that stuff for that. But a lot of the time he takes nature photos and then he posts those, and he has, I believe he has an OnlyFans type of deal for it, where he like sells pictures, or people can get like very, I don't know. They're just super interesting photos that he gets while he's out in nature, and you can't get them in most places. So you can pay like a couple of dollars here or there to get some of that stuff. So if you don't mind, Rach, tell the people about yourself.
Yeah, so I don't know where to start. I am 24 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas. I actually just recently started doing like photography full-time, freelancing. So I started that full-time, I guess, in October. And I've always had a passion for just like creativity and not even specifically photography until lately. But just music and art and all the things that go in that. My degree is actually in music education, so it has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. Who knows, maybe I'll go into that someday, but just not really what I wanted right now. And I'm very happy with like where I am and like where things are taking me lately. So, but yeah, I love to travel. I love fitness, of course. And yeah, like I said, anything to do with creativity and photography, and yeah.
So let's start with what kind of got you into the fitness realm, right? And then B, what got you into photography and lured you away from your degree?
Yeah, so fitness has always been kind of a big part of my life. Growing up, me and my siblings did all sports, and basketball, softball, baseball, swimming, cheer, gymnastics, everything. So like being active was always a big thing. Through college, I actually did college cheerleading, and my sister did that with me. She also did track and basketball, and my brother has always just been in sports too. So anyway, it's a big part of our lives. And then like after college, I was like, okay, what now? Like we didn't have we didn't have practices or games that we had to be at, you know. So my sister got into CrossFit while she was in college, and she actually was a trainer, and she went into athletic training and a coach, and so all of that. And so she kind of got me into CrossFit, and I loved that it had like the gymnastics portion of it and the community of it. And so it was kind of like being in sports again, like high school or college sports. And so
Hmm.
I fell in love with it from that, and I've really only been doing it for a couple years now. But that's kind of how I got into that.
So did you drink the Kool-Aid, buy a bunch of pair of shoes, get
Yeah.
the best gym membership, do all the things?
Oh yeah. I remember
Okay.
like I need a Noble backpack now. I need, you know, all, all these things, the Metcons, the grips. Yeah. So definitely was one of those people.
All right.
Um,
You and I started on the same track. I bought my first Noble bag in 2016, and I had it up until last year. I
honestly,
technically I have a second one now, but
they're great.
I
I actually get so many compliments on it still. I still carry it around everywhere.
I had the duffel back one, so it made traveling when I was overseas very easy. And it was
Yeah.
all black, so nobody ever cared. But there's all the different sections to store stuff, even on the outside. But it was
Yeah.
very secure knowing the zipper was on the like inside of your back, and
Yeah.
then nobody could touch it, and nobody could like look at it and even think of what to do with it. So
Right. I just brought mine overseas as well. I brought it to Spain, and there's so many, like there's so much room. I love it. I could fit everything in it.
so much for even the I have like the more of like a school backpack type of deal.
Mhm.
That still has like that big open compartment, but I have not. I think I've only done it like once or twice with the army where I brought it out somewhere with me, but like the straps just aren't the same as the duffel bag and all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
not as sturdy. So,
Yeah.
uh, so what lured you away from your college degree?
Yeah, so I still love music and I still play. Piano is actually like my main instrument, and I that's like my stress relief is I just go and play piano. But
Hmm.
I got into marketing. I've always done like social media things and honestly just like little gigs. But
Hmm.
I started a job with some friends who own a couple gyms in California. They hired me to be their social media manager. And obviously, I
Mm.
did it remote. I was living in Missouri at the time, actually, and working remote for them. But then they'd bring me out because they know I enjoy photography. And that was my first time actually ever doing like CrossFit photography or fitness photography. And they were like, they gave me a shot. They were like, hey, like, we believe in you and we think that like you have potential. Let's see what you can do for our gyms. And so they flew me out there, and I just loved it and like loved being with the people. And like I was just starting CrossFit at that time too. So
Hmm.
it was all very exciting for me, and it was cool to see like, oh, these, you know, just see different people like do different elements of it and get to capture that. So that's kind of what like the beginning was. And
What
from
what
there,
is it like being a social media like? What is that job like where you manage somebody's social media? Because
yeah,
I feel like that's a lot of people's dream jobs, or people think that they might be good at it. And that would be a really cool place to start for most people if they have that opportunity. But if they don't, I do honestly, I think there's a lot of people who say, like, you know, whether they're influencing things through social media or they think that they can get their start on it. What is that? What I mean, I guess like coming out of college, that being, I'm assuming, kind of like your first job. Like, what
yeah,
was that free flow start of like, hey, just be creative for us?
yeah. Well, and I didn't even mention this, but in college I did a couple things too, like was like a social media manager for one of our floor, you know, Instagrams. It was very small, very part-time.
Okay, okay.
So that kind of is what started it, and I was terrible at it then, honestly. Like they had me make graphics, and I like you would laugh. People would laugh so much right now. They were trash, but you know,
I'd probably fall in that same box right now.
but it's what got me started in it. And I don't know, I've always personally just liked social media, and I think Instagram's really cool because it's all about photos, and I've always loved taking photos, even just like for fun and just personal stuff. But yeah, so like with the gyms, what I do is now, because I still work for them part time, so now I'll go out there every now and then. I'll get some photos as much as I can of, you know, different classes, a few different classes and coaches and stuff like that. And then I have like this whole folder of all of those photos that I can use, and then I just pick
Mhm.
and choose from them throughout the week, kind of schedule the content, think of some captions. And just manage their social media from, you know, wherever I am. And then that also looks like, you know, responding to DMs, reposting stories, responding to comments, stuff like that, and just kind of engaging. And for them, they weren't really concerned about like getting so many followers. They weren't really concerned about, that part, but just mostly like community engagement and just it was something that they could get off of their hands because they didn't have time for it. They own 2 gyms and have a lot of things going on. So they were just like, if we can just not have to stress about it, not have to think about it, like that's great for us. So yeah, for them, it's pretty simple. I just kind of take that off of their hands. And like,
did you feel any like pressure of like when you're kind of making those decisions of like what you're going to pick and choose? Did you have to run that by stuff, or did you just kind of like have that freedom to be expressive on their behalf?
For them, I definitely have freedom, which is very nice. Because at first I did feel that pressure. And I've had jobs too where I have to run every little thing by the person. I actually worked for, when I moved to Texas, I worked for a dental company in the marketing field. But they're a very big like corporate dental company. And so like every little thing had to go by them, which is understandable. I mean, they have a lot of, like a big following and everything. But yeah, for them, I would like send in photos, send in captions. They would tweak it the slightest and be like, maybe try this, or let's try this picture, like making changes, all of that. But for my friends at the in California with the gym, they like give me total freedom, which is really nice.
Well, being a dentist, you have to really try to get out to the exact people that you're trying, that audience wants to hear certain keywords and they want to see certain things. So
right.
Whereas like a gym, you're trying to lure anybody and everybody in with any different type of motivation, any different type of body factor. So that I could see where you'd have a little bit more freedom, and you want somebody who's a little bit more free with how they express themselves. Because I mean, you come into most of these CrossFit gyms, and if I had to guess, I've been to Dallas a couple times. D-Town CrossFit?
No, I just moved to Grapevine.
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm gonna try CrossFit Bolt soon. I haven't tried it out yet, but I know Chase Ingram has been on y'all's podcast, right?
Yes. We've actually been really lucky to have a lot of radical people. We just have not gotten to that point yet where we reach out to all these.
But yeah, Chase, I used to go to his a couple times, CrossFit Big D, and then he actually just merged with. Yeah, I know, great name. He just merged with, I think, like Katie Trail CrossFit. But so I would go occasionally. But yeah, looking for a new one right now. I'm gonna try Bolt.
So how many CrossFit gyms officially in your time have you been to?
Oh gosh, like actually like a member at?
Yes.
Truly, only I think 2.
Honestly, it's always a very small number.
Yeah.
Because if you're moving from CrossFit gym to CrossFit gym, either, I hate saying this, but it's either you that's not actually working out.
Yeah.
Like just your personality is not working out with the members, or it is, I want to say like 9 times out of 10, it's the gym itself either doesn't coach well, or the programming is that of like the most recent gym I coached at, they were very 9 to 5ers, not a lot of competitive athletes, but the 9 to 5ers wanted to learn how to compete a little bit.
Yeah.
But there was no expectation. Nobody's pushing you to realistically on a 1 rep max day actually hit the 1 rep max. But then you have other gyms, specifically that I've been to in this town, where it's every other person or every other 2 people is, hey, I'm going to a competition next weekend. Hey, I'm going to do this. Hey, I need to set this. I need you to video my qualifiers. And those are the 2 different types of gyms that will basically make you want to leave because of the type of gym it is. But then if not, there's always the third aspect. It's like, maybe it is me. Cliche enough, but maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that when you left one of your gyms? Like you just kind of felt like it was you weren't vibing with the gym?
No, honestly, the only reason I've left is from moving. So I was a part of one in Missouri. Are you familiar with like Jessica Griffith?
Yes.
Okay, so I went to the gym that she goes to, and she coaches at, and it's a great gym. I have nothing bad.
She doesn't own that?
She doesn't own it, but she coaches. Her and her husband now they coach there. But great people, and that was my first one that I ever went to, and I really liked it because it was kind of that middle ground from what you were talking about. Like there were some, obviously, like Jess was there, so like there's some like very competitiveness there.
Yes.
But then there's also people who like are just starting, and they're just there for you of like, you know, like, hey, we're going to push you along in the best way. And like, there's a healthy competitive nature between, you know, amongst the community. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was great. I was very blessed with that. And then I lived in Barcelona actually for a few months, and I went to a gym there,
Oh
and they
wow.
were great. They were wonderful. They knew that like I was one of the only ones that didn't speak Spanish, and so they were very kind and like made sure that I understood everything.
They're just like holding your hand, like, "Hi, we have to help this American along. Here we go.
Right.
Come over here."
Well, it's nice because the exercises are always in English, so that helped.
Ah, very
But
nice, very
they
nice.
would literally after like explaining every workout, the coaches would know. They'd look at me and go, "Rachel, you good?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Que
So
bueno. Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm. Got
right.
it. Got it. That's awesome. How long did you live in Barcelona? You said a year?
No, just 3 months. It was a
Oh,
short time,
3 months.
but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
What were you doing over there?
Actually, a marketing internship, kind of. It was with a church there, and I had some friends that lived in Missouri, and they now live in Barcelona, and I got involved with them, and just
Hmm.
I don't know. It was after the pandemic, and I really just wanted. I don't know. I just like had a
To
dream of
get
like,
out.
yeah, yeah, and like Europe was on my heart, and I was like, why not? You know.
So did you
So
just pick up and whole move over there, or just kind of do like that internship was just kind of like a little like, all right, I'm just gonna take like
yeah,
one piece of luggage and go see what I do.
yeah, it was basically that. I
Okay.
knew it was only going to be 3 months, but honestly, like that is kind of something that's always on my mind of like maybe I should move back.
Hmm.
It's great.
A lot of American people don't quite understand what living overseas is like
Yeah,
and why it's different,
yeah,
but it is healthy
yeah.
to just not be in the same place
Yes.
that you grew up in. Feel some cultural like discomfort
Hmm.
and then learn to either mend with it or to push away from it more and just figure out who you are. But those times, like I got to live in Japan for 2 years.
It's awesome.
And that was the first year was a lot of culture shock and I pushed back really, really hard. And my second year, I went home to New England for like a month. And then I decided, hey, when I get back, I'm going to really try to dive in a little bit. I'm very upset with myself. I lived there for 2 years and I never once ate sushi
Are you serious?
until I got home.
Oh my
Now I
gosh.
ate other things and I
I
got
feel
into
like
the
that's a
culture.
crime.
Um, but I did, I want to say like 3 or 4 bar crawls with some friends. Like Halloween, my second year was wild. And I absolutely learned a whole bunch about the culture for the next like 8, 9 months. But by the
Yeah.
time I left, I was like, I need to go back. I need to go
Yeah.
do that again. Because if I don't, I'm going to regret all of that stuff. So at some
Right.
point, I'll get back there when this munchkin that I have over here gets to be a little bit older.
Oh. Yeah, I
So
actually just went back and visited, and I was like, "Oh man, like I've missed this place." It's so different. I highly encourage everyone to like travel
and
somewhere, you know, just get a
my
different.
wife went to Barcelona. I think she did a soccer tournament, something over there for a little bit of time, or maybe it was a class in her high school, and they did like a trip there. But I want to say she was there for at least a month, and then I mean, my wife, she took some classes that were already like Spanish speaking while she was here, not just the obvious like regular Spanish class you go through in like middle school. So her experience there was very just in depth. She could speak the language, she could influence back and forth. And then, of course, you're like an American teenager in Europe or in Spain of like all like super romantic places that has like beautiful architecture and all that stuff. And you're just, oh, I know all of this. And I also have my home brain. So I don't even miss home yet because I
Yeah.
have to learn this whole new culture. That's awesome. So did that job or that internship help you with where you are now? Help like transition you to where you are now?
Yeah, a little bit. I originally went like honestly with no expectations. Like I knew it was gonna be good, and like, you know, I had some people that I already knew there, so I was pretty like confident that I'd have a good time at least. But
Hmm.
yeah, they really plugged me into just more of the like marketing side and more social media and even more photography too. And so from that I actually got the marketing job with the dental company right after that.
Okay.
So I definitely think it helped with that. And then even through the dental company, they gave me really great opportunities for photography. And it just, both of those things I think really built my confidence because prior to that, I had never thought that I would do this as a job ever.
Hmm.
It was always a hobby. And I was like, like the minute I start making it a job, like the minute I won't like it. But that was so, so far from true.
Hmm. Because
Um,
I think now, there is a difference, but there's also a very cool, like similar nature to how, like my job in the Army, I will always get paid. No matter, as long as I'm under contract, there's a fund. I will always be financed. I can always cover rent. I can always get food, and I can always cover my bills.
Mhm.
And then you have people who are kind of in your situation now, where you were like, hey, I did an internship, and I started realizing there's this avenue that I could get into. And I assume now you kind of work for yourself,
Yeah.
right? And the money's, you can always go out and do something on your own because you're your own boss.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to start a company doing car detailing, you could do it and you could still
Right.
make money. So the amount of money might be different, but your ability to continuously make money is there.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you see my job, you're like, oh, I can see from afar that that's secure because contract, etc., government work. And then for you, it's like, it's very free, very wide open. All the possibilities are there.
Mhm.
Some people see that as like, oh no, oh shit, there's too many possibilities. I'm going to get lost and then I'm not going to get it done. Or there are some people who are now in your boat where it's like creator content is huge. You
Oh, yeah.
can play video games and make money off of it. You can open up mail and put it on the internet with your reaction and make money off of it.
Right, which is
So-
crazy.
So what is it like living from a job that is all based on what is in your mind?
It's terrifying, honestly, sometimes.
Okay.
It is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, even just making the jump from my secure corporate job
Mhm.
to just being on my own, it was very scary. But it's also been the best decision that I've made in a long time. Yeah, it's scary not knowing a set amount of income each month because every month is different. Every week is different.
Mhm.
I can have, even like this month, I've had a few companies reach out that I had never talked to and say, hey, can you do photos? We'll give you X amount, whatever, which is amazing. But then like last month, I didn't have those companies. I had just one or two, and so I was like, okay, like gotta cut back on the iced coffees this month,
Mhm.
But
Are you a
it's
Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts or like a
I
local shop?
I like local shops for sure.
Okay, that's
Yes.
fair. It's
Yeah.
Dallas. There's a lot up there.
There's many. Although today I went to Dutch Bros, and so that was my
Such a good point. It is an absolute hidden gem of the Western
There's one
side of this
literally
country.
walking distance, and it's not good for me because I get it too much.
Colorado is where I learned about Dutch Bros. And I have one friend, Beth, who's one of our listeners. She's a close friend of Ken and I's. She got me onto it at first, and I was super intimidated by their like laundry list of a website.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I ordered, I was like, can I just get an iced coffee, cream sugar, and whatever that like marshmallow looking shit is on top?
Mhm.
Have never deviated from it since. It's
amazing.
perfect in every way.
I love it.
So, plus here in Texas, have you been to a Dunkin' Donuts in Texas?
Yeah.
It's
I don't like it.
I don't know if you've ever had it anywhere else, but in New England, it is a world of different coffee.
Really?
Like
In a
it's
good
not
way?
here. If I go to 3 different Dunkin' Donuts in San Antonio and I order the exact same thing, each one will come out different than the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you go to like Connecticut, where I'm from, if you get the most complicated one or the simplest one, they all come out the same, no matter where you are, from New York to Maine.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you ever want good Dunkin' Donuts coffee, it's that northeast corner of the United States.
Yeah, I'm not a big Dunkin' person, but
Not many people are, but you can easily convince somebody to go to Dunkin' Donuts if they have not as many companies calling for the week.
true.
And you're like, $7 at Starbucks, $5 at Dutch Bros, or $2.99 at Dunkin' Donuts.
That's very fair. That's a great
Makes
point.
it. Plus, you were just in Miami, so did you get any coffee while you were down there? Because I
of
hear
course.
they have terrific coffee shops.
Of course, yes. I'm trying to think. We went to the Salty Donut. That was a great one.
I heard that's phenomenal.
Oh, so good. The donuts and the coffee.
Now,
And
where did you hear about that place?
I was so I actually work a little bit with the Toast Spacers crew, Spacer Mobility. And so I was
Okay.
with them and they told me about it. They're like, we have to go. It's in walking distance. I was like, okay.
Okay.
So that's how I
I
heard.
first heard of that through Noah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had one of those episodes on YouTube or whatever. It was like he brought the camera guys from CrossFit to all his like local spots. That was one of them.
I love
But
that.
the amount of different donuts they had that's phenomenal. There's a place like that. If you ever go to the Colorado Springs, there's a place called Amy's Donuts that does pretty much the same thing. I think they have 185 different style of donuts.
Dang.
It's phenomenal. So
Have you
go
been
ahead.
to, what is it, Voodoo in Texas? I think it's
Yes.
called Voodoo. Okay, that one
Yes.
is so good.
It
They have
is.
those in San Antonio?
There's one on the way to Austin,
Okay.
and
yeah.
that I've gone to. Yes, but
So
not.
good.
I don't think that we have any down here. Because
Okay.
I went to my favorite podcast. They have a studio in Austin, and I went up there, and they had voodoo stuff in like the back room. They like fans can come in and they can watch a show. So I got to have some of that. But so I do want to get into your time in Miami because that was your most recent venture.
Yeah.
How does that process happen? How do you get drawn in as a photographer? Do you apply? How long are you there? What is the scheduling like?
Yeah, so this was my first time even at Wadapalooza. And my first really big competition that I've shot actually, besides Beach Brawl. That was kind of what got me into the world. But
Oh, no shit.
yes.
That's where my friend Beth, she lives, the one I just told you about. She just did Beach Brawl.
Oh,
But
really?
continue. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
go
it's
ahead.
okay. It was phenomenal. That's truly like I'm very thankful for the crew that was there and the people that brought me in there because that's really what like has kind of pushed me to where I am now. But anyway, so yeah, with Miami, I originally like applied to just volunteer and I got accepted to volunteer because you just have to apply online. Got accepted to be like with the media team, which is great. Sasha is the one who like runs it and she's amazing. And I was very excited, but then I had a couple people ask me if they could hire me. And so I was like, shoot, if I'm able to not have to spend my own money, like that would be amazing. And that's nothing against volunteering. I think it's amazing. And I think it gets your name out there very well. And the crew is great. But I was like, as a freelancer, I need to think of my business. And
you have to do some pro bono work.
Right. And so, so I had a couple people reach out and I was like, yeah, let me figure it out. The thing is, as far as my understanding, you have to have like a brand, I think, or a specific athlete, but I think it's mainly like you have to have brands kind of be the person who like gets you into an outside media pass. So like you have to be shooting for a specific brand that's there. So I got connected with Paper Street Coffee, which speaking of coffee, amazing. And they were there.
Speaking of Paper Street.
Yes.
They're going to hop on with us in a couple of weeks, actually.
No way. Is it Gabe?
I believe so. I think he was talking to Ken.
Yeah, he's the best. They were amazing, but I talked to Gabe and he was like, yeah, like, he's very chill. He's like, if you just want to like come shoot, come by the booth, shoot products, shoot people with coffee, shoot our athletes. And you can absolutely use my name, use our brand to get you that pass. And I was like, sweet, you're the best. So what it looks like from there is just emailing the Wadapalooza team. And actually, I think I emailed them and then they sent me a link to apply for the outside media. And you just kind of put in like your details, you put in your Instagram, you put in what brand you're shooting for, if there's specific athletes, all of that. So I did that and they responded within a couple of days, said, hey, you've been granted access. Here's kind of what you can and can't do. Basically, with the outside media, you can't be on the floor. And you kind of have to be like just where all the spectators are, which was really difficult. But I mean, it makes sense because like it's their team that gets to be on the floor. But that was definitely one of the things that I was like, okay, how do I do this? Like I was looking, I have some good friends in the CrossFit media space. And I was like, guys, how are you shooting this? Like, I don't know what to do, but they were very kind and like always helpful with me. But yeah. And so then from there I shot for Paper Street and then I had another athlete, actually, I see your shirt from Modballs. And they reached out and asked if I could do photos for them. And then they actually like, we were just talking about prices and everything. And they were like, hang on, let me see if like the Modball team can actually just pay you to do all our athletes. So I ended up doing theirs too, which was amazing. Worked out for everyone, And then aside from that, just had a couple other athletes who like I have a good relationship with, and I've taken photos for them before too. And they just said, hey, if you're gonna be around, like, would you snag a couple? You know, we'll compensate you, whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, it just kind of worked from there, and I'm very grateful for like just the paths that I've crossed and the people I've met who have taken a shot on me, and it's been working out really well. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Now with the Mod Balls team, who did you get to shoot while you're down there? Just a quick question.
Yeah, so I shot Roman Kernikoff, which is so fun.
Is he on the Mod Balls team?
He is. I didn't even
I
know.
didn't know that.
Yeah, had no idea. And they said his name. I was like, okay.
I saw him on all the posters, but I didn't know that, because that's a very high
Yeah,
level athlete.
yeah,
And they didn't have that before. So that's interesting. Good for them.
I know. I was very impressed actually. But
Mhm.
it was fun shooting him too because he won a lot.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I
Don't
had
have to
him.
be on the floor to see that one.
Right. And then Aaliyah Miller, which she's the one who kind of got me connected with them. I shot for her at the Zalos games in Vegas. And then Shaylin, I think her last name is Lori, something like that. Yeah, which she won too, which was amazing.
Mhm.
And then Leo, I don't remember how to say his last name.
Franco.
Yes. Okay, there we go. And then I feel like there's one more. Oh, it was supposed to be Jen Ryan, but she actually pulled out of the competition, unfortunately. But yeah, it was just
So
a
Leo is one of our good buddies. He's been on.
cool.
I believe Ken represents him as well.
Oh,
There was
that's
a couple of times. I think the day that we interviewed him, his car had gotten broken into,
Oh
and
gosh.
somebody stole his whole gym bag. And I think that's where Ken and his relationship started. Ken got him like a new bag, new grips, new lifters, the works from everybody. But a lot of the people that you've, I guess, gotten in touch with, funny enough, we didn't know, are people that we have either interviewed or done business with.
Oh, that's so cool.
So small world, but
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. What was my next question going to be? When you're down like close to the floor and you're taking pictures, right? Is there something as a photographer you're looking for in, at least in this sport, like that stuff that catches your eye, or are you just kind of scanning, waiting, kind of see a good picture line up and then take it, or are you looking for specific things?
Yeah, I think it's really different for everyone and kind of also what you're specifically shooting for. So like for the brands, more so I kind of just get them like a variety of any shot that I can. Obviously, I'm still going to look for like a good, angle or a good framing of the shot, but for the most part, I'm just like they need photos of their athletes, so I'm just going to get them, every angle that I can, a variety. If I'm hired specifically by an athlete, usually they're going to want the more like artsy, like, because it's stuff for their own profile.
Make me look good.
Yeah, of course. And so I definitely for those ones look for all of them, truly, I look for like the big smiles or like the, if they're going up for a big lift, obviously like get them like at the top of the lift and, the after effect. My favorite moments are to get like after a big lift or after like an event finish or something. And when they're just like so happy and like, I love those shots, either happy or like dead.
Yes. Raw
like,
emotion is hard to capture. Raw emotion at the end of those is very hard to capture unless you're really like right there. But I guess with a couple of your athletes, where did you get to stand if you couldn't be on the floor?
Yeah, it was it was difficult. For like the Bayside area, we had one specific spot, and it was so like if you're looking at the stage from the stands to the right, down on the on the floor, but to the right. But that was like our only option.
Okay.
And then, well, that was for the team. For individual, we were sometimes able to come up like to the front of the railing, but then I think like security got involved. I think, I don't know, there was something going on, so they like completely switched. I think
Who did you get into a fight with?
it wasn't me, I promise. I did get yelled at though by so many spectators. I got cussed out several times. I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt terrible. I'm such a people pleaser too that I'm like, I know I'm doing my job, but like I'm so sorry.
You really have to learn how to start flipping people with a bird.
Yeah.
It's a thing, especially with CrossFit spectators. Like I just did BCS Classic a couple months ago, and I don't know if you know, but Rich goes every year now.
Yeah, I was there for one day this year. It was fun.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. But I know my wife, she was pregnant at the time, still with our little one, and she told me there was a couple of people who even like she cheered or like stood up, and there was a couple of people who were just kind of like, "Hey, like sit down, like we're trying to watch Rich," because I was on the floor at the same time with him, and I was like, I didn't know that people were kind of like that, but at the end, when you get the chance to kind of like take pictures and stuff with them,
Yeah.
like there are videos, and I want to say like 2 or 3 times, people would like go up, try to like, "Hey, Rich, like come over here, like, I gotta take a picture with you," and you'd see somebody behind them like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And it's like, dude, like chill, like it's not that big of a deal. But you also kind of see, from the athlete perspective, it is a sport that does not pay uberly well
Right.
unless you're a lucrative person. Like Rich, I didn't know that he had any business background. I don't think that he does. So either his parents or his wife was super well like business oriented and was like, "Hey man, anything you do gets your name out there, gets more
Yeah.
money in your pocket."
Yeah.
So I guess my next question that would lead me to is like, while you were there, did you have any negative experiences either with your job or with the athletes you were shooting?
Never with the athletes. I do have a pretty good relationship with all the athletes that I shoot. There's a couple of them I've never met, but they're always kind. And even just through Instagram, like I haven't met Roman, and I tagged him in a couple things, and he reposted and just said like, "Thanks so much for getting this," type of thing. But
Mhm.
anyway, with the athletes, I've always had great experiences, and they're always kind. But I think I don't even know if I would say it was like a negative experience, but really just the hardship and the struggle of like getting good shots with our limitations.
Mhm.
So like I was saying, like there's only that one area, and then like in Flagler, which is like the big stage for most of the night events, I had to get in there like 2 hours early just to sit and get a spot, even in the stadium, because they weren't letting anyone in because it was so full. So like I seriously sat there for like 2 hours just so I could get a shot, which sucked. But then again, like I don't know, I was just thinking about it after the fact too, and just thinking like this shouldn't be a limitation for me though. This should just be like
Mhm.
something I look at as like, okay, how can I overcome this type of thing? And like I said, it was my first time there, so I already was kind of like nervous and freaking out, but I just had to remind myself like, okay, like it's just a hoop that you have to jump through. Like get your shot, do the best that you can. The athletes and the brands are going to be understandable, and like especially everyone I had, again, they're so kind. And they were like, there was a couple of people that I told like, "Hey, I couldn't even get you for this event because we weren't able to get there," and they're like, "Oh, totally okay, like you're good."
Mhm.
um so overall, very positive things. There were some hard things, but I wouldn't even count them as negative, truly.
So there's not like a bad time that you had during the weekend for anything.
Just getting cussed out by those fans.
Oh God,
That's the only thing.
that's a tough time.
No, it was fine. I understand. Like I was trying to be, respectful of everybody and out of the way, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm just trying to do what I'm here to do.
Now, outside of shooting or filming, what was the best thing, like most fun thing that you got to do while you're there?
Most fun thing. Okay, actually, for the Toast Racer crew, they had a yacht party with Sarah Sigmundsdottir. And so I got to go on that and just get some content. I guess I was still technically working, but it was so
Mhm.
fun. Oh my gosh. I was kind of in disbelief. I was like, I'm literally on a yacht in Miami. What am I doing? Like, what's my life right now?
Mhm.
But yeah, that was probably one of the most fun. And just honestly, just being like with friends and getting to catch up with the other creators in the space who we only really see each other at competitions. And so that was really fun.
Do you have a favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete to shoot or to watch or both?
I'll leave that up to you.
I don't know. I've got to say Christine Colenbrander. She's my girl. She's like we're from the same hometown, and I get
Mhm.
to shoot her pretty often. So I love watching her and just her. She always has joy and like is just always in a positive, uplifting mood. And so definitely love watching her. Man, I don't know. I love all the athletes. I love watching them. Seriously.
Oh, come on. We all have
I'm
favorites.
indecisive too. Who's your favorite?
So I mean, my wife would oust me at any time if I didn't say Rich. I
Okay.
think I think it's well known amongst any of my friends and I. If I have a guy that's just a favorite, it's either him or Matt. But that's I've gotten to meet both of them. I never really liked a lot of the other male athletes, not in the sense that they're bad people, but
Yeah.
I guess like those who outside of winning, they seem to have the mentality that kind of draws you in. Where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, other guys are kind of quiet and they might have like day jobs and whatnot. And
Mhm.
maybe it's just the fact that those two have a very good influence on like
Yeah.
media and content. But I really liked Rich for a while just because his connection with like service members and stuff drew me in at first.
Cool.
But Matt was he actually I think I want to say it was like year 2 or 3 for me doing CrossFit, and I just tagged him in some video or something I did, and he shot me like 3 or 4 DMs and just was like a nice guy, and I was like, all right, cool,
Aw,
I'm fair, I'm in.
I love that.
Um, we're still working on getting Rich here. We've had a couple of the Mayhem crew on, but it'd be nice. I got to chat with him for like 15-20 minutes and do a warm up at BCS with him. Very nice guy, very respectable dude. It's also slightly smaller than I thought he was, but also slightly bigger than I thought he would.
Yeah.
If that
No,
makes
I could
sense.
see that. I could see that.
He's fucking yoked for like a 34, 35-year-old.
Yeah.
And it is you didn't think that muscle just grew out of somebody that small, that fast.
No, the Mayhem crew is so great. So great. That's another one I was gonna say. Paige Powers. She's like become a friend of mine since
Okay.
Utah, and she friggin' won the whole thing, and like so cool watching her just destroy it. Like
I'm
in
not
the
gonna lie, I might tap you for that contact.
okay.
And tap
No
on your
problem.
shoulder and be like, hey, can
Like,
we at some point maybe we'll find out.
yeah.
If I had a female that's a favorite to watch, definitely not Annie. I could give 2 fucks less if that woman fell off the top of the rope. If you watch any of our episodes, I am absolutely ruthless against her.
Do you have like a specific reason?
I think she's fake as fuck.
Really?
I think she does it all for the cameras.
I haven't talked to her.
I
have no idea.
Neither have I. But what was like the most recent thing was there's some people that were saying like she had some a lot of no reps on a lot of the different movements. But she's, I don't know. It's just, when you meet somebody and you can kind of see that they're either doing whatever it is that they do, like their persona, whatever they're giving off in those moments, it just doesn't sit well, right? Like you kind of you're doing something for somebody or for something, and it's not just because that's who you are.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I've always kind of gotten from her. And the couple of times that people seem to have like either called her out or just kind of been like, hey, you're not the face of this anymore. It was like an insult that really took to her, I think. And that's what to me made me think otherwise. But I don't know. I really like Cara Saunders.
Oh yeah.
To be honest. She seemed like the most I'm just here to win. I'm just here to do as best I can. Sell my soul. I'll do Murph till I have a heat stroke. But
so her daughter is freaking adorable.
That, and she's kind of been, I don't want to say a mystery, but somebody who's like from Australia, stuck to her guns, never left home, never went somewhere else to take the business opportunity. I think until Mayhem. I think she has a place in Mayhem though.
Well, she's also involved. She owns like Active Eyewear, and they do great. But I love that company. I love the people there.
But I remember she was always posting about I think it was after the year she gave birth. That was one of the most incredible things, was her giving birth and then a year later being back at the games.
Yeah.
And then she set the trend because then Annie did it. And I have a feeling Tia will do it here soon.
I'm sure.
One of the young ones though that I do enjoy watching is Danny. But she's like Brooke Wells to me. And I mean, this is no insult to women in CrossFit. There are some of the girls who their weakness is very identifiable. It's very just out there. and it's there every fucking year. It
Mhm.
never changes. And there's only been a select few. I would probably say T is one, Daniel Brandon's another, and probably Carrie Pierce before she retired. They were all ones that, like, when they had a weakness and you could see it, the very next year they were a completely different athlete.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
like Brooke, Danny Spiegel, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Katrin, they all absolutely had, like, whether it's Brooke with muscle ups, Danny with like long range movements, um, and Sarah with just like going balls to the fucking walls every goddamn workout. The same thing would happen the very next year, and that would be their downfall.
Yeah.
But now you have. I was very impressed with some of the people who went over to like Mayhem, and then the other people went all over to HWPO. And I even noticed like Mal. We've had James Townsend on before. We had the whole backstory. That actually is what got Matt on the show,
Oh,
because
cool.
there's some drama in the background of all that. But we got to discuss previous training methodologies, what's new, how are they going through things. Mal no longer has a hip hinge with her cleans or her snatches. It's all one generic movement, very quick, very snappy.
Yeah.
Katrin, somebody who's had back problems for the last like 2 or 3 years, now is putting up massive PRs in all of her lift, and she no longer has a hip hinge.
Mhm.
And then I want to say Amanda Barnhart is up there now too,
Yeah, she
and
is.
she's always been really strong, but now her like 5K row is like a minute shy of what it used to be.
Yeah.
So
So, like, clearly what they're doing is working.
those women have changed the athlete that they are.
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to do any good. I think Mal will take next year's, but I don't think that anybody else is coming for those titles.
Yeah.
So now, as somebody who's been in the sport, are you just kind of competing, or are you kind of just 9 to 5ing it?
So funny you say that. I'm actually competing in TFX this weekend,
Oh snap!
but I'm so nervous because I don't compete. This is like my first big competition, I guess. I've done like a couple local ones, but I'm doing a
Individual or team?
team. Yeah, we're just
Mm.
intermediate, so nothing crazy. But with my sister and then our friend from a gym up here, and yeah, I'm excited for it, but also just I'm like I need to be behind the camera and not out here. Like I'm so nervous. But I'm
What's
excited.
what? What's your favorite movement,
Like in general,
just in general?
I love
Everyone's
toes
got their
to bar.
favorite.
I love toes to bar. I don't know why. Those
Oh
are
my
so fun.
god!
Yeah, I don't know.
What
I
about
know.
what about it?
They're just fun. I feel like so I was a gymnast growing up, and so
Oh, that just answered the whole question.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I need to say more.
It would either be that or ring muscle ups.
I can't do those yet, but I'm working on it. I'm
Okay,
working.
so if I had to guess, intermediate is where
Yeah.
you guys are. All right, cool. My wife and I were still discussing as of like the other weekend if we're going to go up there. We have a now 3-month-old as of 2 days ago.
Oh,
So
congrats.
yes, he's being very well behaved.
Oh, love that for you.
That's why I had to move my chair over here, because he's in his like little rocker right
Yeah.
now, and he's currently looking at me, but he's dozing in and out, and then he's getting angry with me. So, oh, there he is, making his guest appearance. So, before I let you get out of here, going forward, one of the things that Ken and I like to talk about with athletes and people who we bring on is, when you go forward after the show, what are the long-term goals and short-term goals that you have, either through the work that you've been doing or through what you would like to do, like more long range, like what would you like to adapt into?
Yeah. I think long term, although I hope it's not too long away or too far away, I would love to go into more like pro sports. So I would love to shoot NFL, NBA, MLB, like that stuff. Which I like. I'm trying to get my foot in the door with those and just trying to make connections there. I think it'd be amazing to do that stuff more often. But yeah, short term, really just like again, just making connections. I think community in this little world that we have of CrossFit is just so important. And it's something that's like one of my favorite things for sure about CrossFit in general. And yeah, just making connections, really just like I'm trying to just take it all in and enjoy where I'm at and enjoy the opportunities that are being brought to me. And I love traveling. I think I mentioned that before. And so even just being able to like travel, like maybe go shoot at Madrid for that competition, or some of the, even I don't know, anything just outside of here, and just getting to travel and do what I love with the people that I love too from this community. I think that's just short term what I want to be doing.
Okay, that's awesome. Let me know if you ever need anything. I had a couple of friends who worked for some NFL companies and some teams. So if you ever need an in, I might have you there. Also, if you look through our back catalog of like guests that we've had, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, if you ever need contact to get with anybody, I know like Jared Stevens and a couple of those guys who do the tactical games and the Go
Yes.
Ruck situation.
I
If
love
you ever
Jared.
want to venture, if you want to venture into any of that stuff, let us know. We can get you in touch with that. But unfortunately, my co-host is not here, so I would venture to him while I take care of this one. But
You're fine.
I will let you get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything I have for you, I'll send it your way after this. But if you need anything from us, let us know. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
No
it.
problem. I look forward to talking to you. If you ever want to come back on, if you have something you're working on, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.